Thank you.
You have a very big ambition. So what do you think it takes? What are the qualities, the assets needed to be president of Russia?
First of all, in modern Russia, the quality which is needed to challenge Putin and to challenge him for a change is to be brave, because elections in Russia now are not elections in Belgium. It's not like trying to become a prime minister in not very big European country. Here, when you come into politics, you can face very big problems, and there were already raids in my home. All my work was finished after I said about my political views years ago, and my life really changed dramatically 6 years ago when I first went out on the streets to say what I think about the system. Now, when I'm taking this challenge, I recognize all the risks that come with it, and that the situation can be harsh for me.
Bravery, that seems important to you, and I understand why, and I want to talk to you about exactly what you've experienced in the years since you decided to join the activist opposition. But I'm surprised you didn't use any words like experience or knowledge or sort of an encounter in the past with managing something significant. I mean, you are a woman in your 30s. You have no experience that could possibly be relevant to becoming president of Russia.
Yeah, that's why I didn't mention experience, because now in Russian politics, to be brave, to be persistent are the main qualities. I'm not a politician. I'm just a person, a journalist who knows that the situation in my country is unjust. And I would love that in my country would be fair elections where everyone, people with big experiences, with a different kind of political views, could take part and debate, and I could come back home and do my job. But no, the situation is not like this. There are not so many people really willing to take this challenge. So I think it's my responsibility to be brave, to be persistent, and to try to change. Around me, there are a lot of experts, a lot of people with big knowledge of economy, of politics, of institutions of Russia, who are part of my team, and they're helping me really a lot.
Well,
to form a big program and to be together.
The thing is, usually with politicians or wannabe politicians who come into the Hardtalk studio, I'm testing their resolve and their ability to do the job that they're trying to do. You don't even seem to believe yourself that you have what it takes to do the job, because when you were launching your own campaign last month, you said, and I'm quoting you, "I have no political weight. I haven't earned the right to launch some kind of political program or truly to stand as a candidate." You don't even believe this stuff yourself.
No, Stephen, that's not like this. I would say again that I think the most important thing in Russia is now to change the system. And this is the most important part of this program. Of course, I will form a big program, and I'm doing it right now with lots of experts on economy, on different kind of things. But I want to stress once again, this is not that important now, because we can list all the programs in the world, and they were listed, but they never managed to come to life, because the system itself is so that any program you offer, it is always rejected. So what's the point of being hypocritical on this?
Well, I understand.
Let's say the truth, that the main thing is to change the system. Why I say this
word?
But
the point is there needs to be a credible agent of change. And I would say that to many people, you are not a credible agent of change. I mean, if we look at your record, you were a reality TV star. You were the star of a show called Blonde in Chocolate.
It was 15 years ago, Stephen.
Well, yes, I'm looking at your record. You also hosted the reality show Dom 2, which is the sort of big brother of Russia.
Yes, and I was also first journalist of the world, even before CNN, who took interview of Mikhail Khodorkovsky, who went out of jail. I was the first to interview Pussy Riot.
You've also sold a fragrance, How to Marry a Billionaire.
It was 15 years ago, Stephen.
I would suggest to you that overall, your track record is not that of somebody who is serious about becoming president of Russia.
In Russia, we have a very good film. I recommend it to watch it to you. It's called Baron Münchhausen. And in the end, the hero of the movie says, the most awful things in this world were done with the most serious face. So people first laugh at you, but then they fight with you, but then you win, as you know the saying. So I'm not afraid of being ridiculed in someone's eyes. I know I'm not ridiculed. I know that I've done a huge job, and I've done it for many years. For 6 years, I'm working on the only independent TV channel called TV Rain. I make a lot of journalist report works. I do a lot of interviews. I helped Alexei Navalny with some.
We'll get to Navalny in just a moment.
No, please,
it's important to get to Alexei Navalny because his views on your candidacy are important. But before we get there, you said to me, "Look, Stephen, don't judge me just on my
Stephen,
experience."
Let me finish.
Well, no, but the point is, this is a question and answer, and my question is this: you said, "Judge me on the people I have around me and who I've hired." One person you hired to run your campaign was Mr. Sitnikov, Alexei Sitnikov. 2 weeks after you hired him, he left the campaign saying he couldn't take it anymore. It was chaos. It was as if the whole thing had been designed on the back of a cigarette packet.
Still, I want to answer the question about my profession because this is important to me. The things you mentioned happened in my life 15 years ago. That's a huge time. For this time, people already come away from prison and begin new life. So 6 years ago, I started my career as a journalist, and I really did a lot of sensational work, not only in terms of Russia, but in terms of international journalistic work. So I think this itself gives me the right to present myself in a different way.
Interesting you say that. I mean, I'm a journalist too. I've been a journalist for 30 years. I'm not sure that qualifies me to be Prime Minister of Great Britain. But nonetheless, just address the point I made to you.
When you say about the support, when I came to the campaign, I had zero people who really believed in what I do. Now, when we have sociology, it's already 10%. It's more than on the last elections Mikhail Prokhorov had at the end. 10% after 1 month of my campaign is really a lot.
It depends what poll you look at. Another poll has you at 1%. Another poll has your disapproval.
No, it's the biggest poll of sociology. It's called Sion. You can check the numbers.
The Levada poll has you at
10%.
1% with 9% saying they might support you, but it also suggests that more than 60% disapprove of you and only 20% approve. I mean, your negatives are very, very high.
Understand, Stephen, what is 20% out of 95% of people knowing me? It's a huge number. It actually can be the second place on those elections. It can be even the first place if people really believe they can change the situation.
Here's what...
So 20% is really a lot.
All right. Your campaign manager of 2 weeks quit saying that it felt like the whole campaign had been written on the back of a cigarette packet. This is what Alexei Navalny, who is the leading anti-Putin, anti-corruption campaigner in the country, a man I've interviewed on Hardtalk, this is what he said when he first learned that you were going to be a candidate. He said, this is a loathsome Kremlin game.
No, I'm sorry. Being a journalist, you're not right. You're telling not true. He said it before I went to the election.
Yes, when your name was put forward as somebody who might run...
No, that's not true. It was 2 weeks before I put my name.
He said this game is called Let's Put a Liberal Laughingstock Up for election.
2 weeks before I put my candidacy.
That's what I'm saying. When your name was mooted, he said it's called putting a liberal laughingstock up for election in order to distract attention. Okay. Navalny sees you as somebody fundamentally unserious who's being used by the Kremlin.
I wouldn't use the present form because after I put my name and said I will take part in the elections, I haven't heard anything critical of Navalny lips. So you can check this information. This saying was before I went to say my name. And
are you suggesting to me that Mr. Navalny is supporting your campaign?
I hope that he will be wise enough, if I will be registered, to support me, because unfortunately, and this situation is very unfair, he won't be registered by unlawful lawsuits that are made against him. So if we are fighting for the same goal, and I think we are fighting for the same goal with Alexei Navalny, I offered him this option to be, the person who just opens the door. I am the one who will be registered, and I hope together with him we can fight for the best future of Russia.
Yes, you...